This is the Winnipeg Jets, and last year, they ended their season off in the worst possible way. After finishing fourth in the NHL with some of the best defensive metrics in the league, along with their Vezina-winning goalie Connor Hellebuyck, the Jets had hopes for a long and deep playoff run. They made NHL history, but for all the wrong reasons. The Jets became the first team ever to allow 5+ goals in each of their first 5 games to begin a postseason. A team that prided itself on defensive play and Vezina-caliber goaltending had the wheels fall completely off at the worst possible time to get bounced in the first round in 5 games. Fast forward to present day with a new head coach, and they've responded by having the hottest start in the NHL. The Jets sit on top of the league, and fans are still reluctant to believe they're the real deal when it comes down to crunch time. But regardless, they are currently the NHL's best team. So what exactly are they doing early this season to have success, and are they actually for real this time? Well, let's take a look. After the ending the Jets had last season, there were a ton of question marks about what kind of team would show up to start the year. And so far, they haven't disappointed. It may only be 9 games into the season, but this body of work for the Jets and their regular season success goes far beyond what has occurred this year. With Coach Rick Bowness calling it a career after last season, assistant coach Scott Arniel has stepped in and amplified their regular season success. First, let's look at what the Jets are doing extremely well right now, and that's scoring goals. The Jets, who are second only to the Vegas Golden Knights, are averaging 4.44 goals per game. And that's because in almost all scenarios, their structure from defense to offense allows them to have success in all 3 zones. Beginning with their forecheck, they can hem teams in their own end consistently, as it was a staple for them last season also. The Jets play a standard 1-2-2 forecheck. Puck goes deep, F1 chases, the F2 takes the strong side of the wall, while the F3 mirrors that on the weak side. But what makes it so effective is how well they support each other off a quick turnover and how they can extend their possession and create a grade A chance. And as we saw with the cup-winning Panthers, a strong team pressures with every single layer. Watch here as the Jets pressure and set their traps with every player without sacrificing defensive positioning. F1 is going to pressure while the F2 closes in to cut off the play on the other side. Now, because the F2 gets there quickly and forces the puck carrier to make a play up the wall, that allows the Jets D and F3 to step up and get aggressive. By the time the puck arrives at the blue line, this poor schlep has nowhere to go because look at the layers in place for Winnipeg. F3 is cutting off a potential play into the middle, while the Winnipeg defenseman steps up to hold the line against this winger. Then it's the back support of the Jets that almost ends up causing a turnover. Now again, the difference here between Winnipeg and other teams right now is the pursuit of the F1 on the defender. And once he creates a turnover, Winnipeg gets into their 2-1-2 pressure. Last season, when the Jets were walking over the league, their 4 lines were great at winning battles down low with 2 forwards and then popping it out to the high F3 for a chance. This year, the Jets have not wavered with this style, and teams are having a hard time adjusting again. Another reason for their early success is how well they can transition up ice and off the rush. And it all usually starts with their responsibility on the defensive side of the puck. Here against Pittsburgh, they have great structure in the neutral zone as they completely take away the middle of the ice. The Penguins only have options on the wing, and Jets defender Neil Pionk reads it like a textbook and steps up, intercepts the puck, and now the Jets have a 4v2 the other way, and it ends up in a goal. Even when the play is behind their own goal line, Winnipeg's support and structure makes them a threat to counter quickly. Here, Seattle has good pressure, but Pionk is going to swing in to provide some help. As Pionk goes around the net, that forces Seattle's F3 to step up, and boom, in the blink of an eye, one pass springs the Jets on an odd man rush. And really, this is just more proof of how valuable having a smart, puck-moving defenseman is in today's game. Having defenders like Morrissey and Pionk, who not only have the speed, but the awareness of when to properly jump up in the rush, often give the Jets the upper hand on the attack. This play here is against the Sharks, so it's up to you if you want to make it count or not, but to be a great team, you have to have some lateral element to your attack. Here, Kyle Connor gets the puck, and he knows right away he's going to face pressure. Instead of dumping it in or forcing an entry, he turns back and finds Pionk activating on the weak side. All of a sudden, there's so much space to work off the rush, and it creates a goal. Now, according to Mike Kelly from the NHL Network on Twitter, the Jets have the 6th best shooting percentage off the rush. That may regress, but as we've seen, their process for creating rush chances have been good so far. Again, what feeds into all of this is their play on the defensive side of the puck. The Jets ranked 4th in the NHL in goals allowed and on the penalty kill. Connor Hellebuyck is a big reason why, as this man has a ridiculous 2.14 goals against average and .925 save percentage in 7 games this season. But again, it's the connectivity of the Jets in their own zone that really puts it all together. Down low, the Jets like to get all 5 players tight to the corner and outnumber other teams and break up stalled pucks. When they can win these battles, it only feeds into their transition game up ice. Against higher possession teams like Edmonton, for example, the Jets will go to a man-on-man style of defense and pressure the opponent to force perimeter action and give the puck carrier limited time to make a play. However, what stands out about Winnipeg early on is their desperation and compete on this side of the puck. Even when there's a slip-up or defensive lapse, the Jets are busting their ass to break up the play or block a shot, even if it's already 5-0 in the first game of the season. And when all else fails, Connor Hellebuyck is usually there to cover up the damage. Now, where it all comes together for the Jets is their special teams. Their penalty kill is 4th in the league, while their power play is 1st in the NHL, operating at 44%. The penalty kill runs a variation of a box and diamond depending on the situation. However, you can see just how effective it is against a wild power play that's 5th in the NHL. On the entry, the Jets have a 1-2-1 formation, and when gapped up properly, the F1 effectively forces the pass to the wing, while the D2 or F2 step up on either side to stuff the entry at the line. Here, Minnesota can't cleanly beat the first layer, but Winnipeg's second layer comes up to clean the garbage. On another attempt in that game, Minnesota can't even get through the first layer. The more broken entries that you can create, the more teams will feel forced to dump it in to gain the zone, which of course allows the Jets defenders an opportunity to retrieve the puck and get it clear. When a team finally does set up, Winnipeg is doing a great job at pressuring bobbled pucks and players when they're in a tough spot along the wall. On the flip side, though, is their power play. And the Jets run a standard 1-3-1 in the power play once they set up in the zone, but they've done a lot of their damage off of zone entries before the penalty killers can even get set up. This all starts with their ability to beat the first checker on the penalty kill. When trying to gain the zone, a quick lateral dish to the wing to beat the stick of the checker is crucial for the entry. From there, a Jets player can drive down the wall, get the killers to collapse in their own zone, and then feed it back up to the point to properly set up. Now, if the killers overcommit to one side or allow an easy entry, the Jets are quick to sling it to the opposite side for a grade A look. For penalty killers, it's extremely hard to stop a power play without either denying the entry or getting properly set up. Here against the Leafs, they're going to try and beat that first checker, and the lateral pass actually almost gets picked off. But once it does get through, this killer is going to step up to make an aggressive play at the line. Velarde hits the twinkle toes, beats his man, and then makes a great pass to the trailer, and now every single killer is chasing the play. Leafs aren't set up to defend the cross-ice pass, and you have a goal off the entry. Having a great power play, though, is all about adjustments and unpredictability. When they are in their 1-3-1 and are set up, teams are covering the bumper threat. So they'll have a forward slip down below the goal line as an option so that they can change sides without forcing a pass through traffic. If killers aren't quick enough to pressure and on the read, then there's goals there to be scored. Even against Toronto, they throw a curveball and spread out. Ehlers hangs up high almost to create a 3-2 spread, and instead of Scheifele being in the bumper like he usually is, he's on the right flank. Toronto's PK as a wedge +1 gets spread out, and lanes open up across the seam, and then you have yourself another goal. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Last year, the same roster got exposed by an Avs team with raw speed and a transition game that relied on stretch passes to negate Winnipeg's suffocating layers. It resulted in the Avs having almost double the chances off the rush. And in their sole loss versus the Leafs this season, it was uncharacteristic defensive giveaways caused by Toronto's strong forecheck that led to their first loss. The Jets, like every team, are going to have mistakes and have their weaknesses. The question is whether they can adjust their game when it's time, and if their star players can hold up their end of the bargain when it matters most. They've had amazing regular seasons before, only to fall flat on their face. So much so that history was made at their expense. But as of right now, they're playing some damn good hockey, and the entire NHL is on notice.